Welcome to Inspire London College. In this video, I'll guide you about the assignment worksheet of Qualified Level 3 Diploma Understanding Dementia Care with the unit number F6153829. Now, let's move towards the learning outcome and assessment criteria of this specific assignment. But before that, as you know, that you have to provide a brief introduction to the topic of your assignment, that is dementia care. So you have to discuss like what is dementia and what are the different types of dementia, but make sure to keep this introduction part under 150 words. Now here is the learning outcome 1, in which for the assessment criteria 1.1, you need to discuss the reasons that are basically the causes for the increase in dementia, in which you just not only can give the reasons, but you also have to explain in detail like what and how these factors are playing their part in increasing dementia within the population. Further, for the assessment criteria 1.2, you need to explain the signs and symptoms of dementia. These are basically the indicators which indicate like whether an individual have dementia or not. Whereas for assessment criteria 1.3, you need to discuss the effects of dementia, which are basically the impacts. Like, for example, if an individual have dementia, so how having dementia affects the individual's health, either its mental health, either its physical health, either its social relationships. So this is how you can discuss the assessment criteria 1.3. Now, moving down towards the learning outcome 2, in which for the assessment criteria 2.1, you need to first identify the different clinical investigations or tests that are used for the diagnosis of dementia. Then you need to make a comparison between these clinical investigations in terms of writing the purpose of each test. You can also discuss like how each test measures or diagnose the dementia within the individuals. For assessment criteria 2.2, you need to assess the strengths of these clinical investigations that you identified in the criteria 2.1. And for discussing the strength, you can consider the positive aspects of all these tests. And for the weaknesses, you can consider the limitations of each test when used for the diagnosis of dementia. Now, here is the learning outcome 3, in which for the assessment criteria 3.1, there are two parts of this assessment criteria are, and you have to answer both of these parts. First, you need to explain the treatment, and then you have to explain the support available for the service users who are initially diagnosed with dementia. So let's suppose an individual is initially diagnosed with dementia, so you have to explain and give the reasons like what treatment options and what support options are available for the service users who are newly diagnosed with dementia. And for the criteria 3.3, you have to explain the same thing, the treatment options and support available for the service user, but for the individuals who are at the end stage of dementia. And you also have to explain this term end stage of dementia, because there are different stages of dementia. Then under assessment criteria 3.2, you need to discuss the long-term complications that are basically the long-term health diseases that are associated with dementia. And for last but not the least, for the assessment criteria 3.4, which is about to explain the support available for families with relatives with end-stage dementia. Now you have to explain in this kind of criteria like what support options are available for the family members who are taking care to the individuals who are at the end-stage dementia. Now this is all about the assessment criteria and learning outcome of the unit Understanding Dementia Care. At the end of your assignment, you have to conclude your assignment as well by providing a summary in which you can discuss what is the idea of your assignment and what have you learned by going through this assignment. And you also have to provide the references of all the sources that you used. So this is the end of assignment worksheet of Qualified Level 3 Diploma Understanding Dementia Care.